Guide to Prey Model Raw Feeding. When feeding prey model raw, the ratio you should aim for is 80% muscle meat like tongue, heart, beef roasts without the bone, 10% bone, anything with bone in like chicken quarters or pork breasts that are surrounded by muscle meat, 5% liver from any animal, 5% other secreting organs such as pancreas or spleen. Do not feed vegetables, fruits, or grains. They do not need to be included as the main part of the diet. Every dog is different. You may have to tweak these ratios to suit your dog's specific needs. If the poop comes out too soft, add more bone. And if it comes out chalky and white, you have to take away bone. You're feeding an all-natural, preservative-free diet. There's nothing unnecessary going into your dog. These are some of the benefits you will see from feeding this type of diet. Reduced shedding. Easier to control weight. Healthy, shiny, soft coat. Squeaky clean teeth from the raw, meaty bones they're eating. Reduced allergies. Firm and smaller stools. And no doggy odor. These next pictures are an example of how raw has helped my Belgian Malinois' allergies. In this picture you can see Lincoln is about 10 pounds overweight. His coat was greasy, smelly, the hair was thin, you could not feel his ribs, his ears were disgusting, and he was constantly scratching himself. This picture was taken, I'd say, about a month before I put him on raw, just so I could chart his progress. In this picture, you can see Lincoln is still slightly overweight. This picture was taken 2 months into feeding him raw. His coat was starting to improve, wasn't as greasy, and he wasn't scratching nearly as much as he was 2 months ago. This picture was taken 3 months into raw feeding. He's still losing weight, still a tad overweight. His coat is so much better, so much shinier, and the itching has stopped completely. This picture was taken on raw 5 months. His weight is perfect at 65 pounds. His coat is soft, shiny, it doesn't smell, he's not scratching anymore, his ears are not bothering him. His teeth are getting better. His overall health has drastically improved. Here you notice on his chest he had bare spots. Just one big rash. I've tried everything from the vet. I've tried every single cream I could buy over the counter. Nothing helped. This first 2 pictures were taken a month before raw, and the last one was taken 5 months after raw, and he has all his hair back now and not one single rash. These are 2 pictures of his back teeth on the one side, before and after. I started using the Pets Life the spray. You could also buy the gel. Between that and the raw bones I've been feeding him, the tartar on all of his teeth are gone, and his breath is so much better. When you start raw feeding, you want to start with one protein source for a few weeks. Chicken is the easiest. You can use whole chickens and chicken quarters as they work best for most, but all parts of the chicken are edible. For larger dogs, you have to watch feeding small pieces as they can become a choking hazard. Organs should be introduced in small amounts, thumb-size amounts at first after 2 to 3 weeks with chicken. Organs are a must in prey model feeding as they contain high amounts of the vitamins that they need. The next short video clip will show you Lincoln breaking up bones and chewing. This is what you want to accomplish with your dog so he or she doesn't gulp it, which may pose a choking hazard. You can do this by holding the food in your hand and letting them take small pieces off so they learn to chew. After you trust them, you can just let them eat it. on their own, still supervised though in case they decide to gulp it. After, you can add other protein sources such as beef, pork, turkey, quail, rabbit, deer, lamb. I personally prefer not to feed any beef bones, but will feed other bones such as pork, chicken, turkey, quail, and rabbit. Remember to not feed weight-bearing bones as they can damage teeth and can cause blockages if the dog is able to break a chunk off and swallow it. Now to figure out what your dog needs. For an adult dog, you need 2 to 3% of their healthy body weight. If they are overweight, calculate based on what your dog should weigh. Lincoln weighed 75 pounds. His ideal weight was 65 pounds, so I calculated based on that. So he would need 1.3 pounds per day. I bumped it to 1.4 as he is somewhat high energy. A 40-pound dog would need 0.8 of a pound per day at 2%. No dog requires 2% exactly, 3% exactly, or 4% exactly. You have to base it on if your dog is gaining weight, take some food away. If he's losing a lot of weight, you have to add some food. Some dogs require 2%, some require 3%, and I've seen some that require 8% of their body weight. It just all depends on the dog.
Okay. I'm going to show you how I have a system going here. Mind my freezer, I share it with the dogs, so it's kind of a little messy. As you can see here, this section here is the dog section. I can easily fit 3 months of food in here right now. Now what I do is I have these packages here. And this is how I package my dog's food. I pre-measure, pre-weigh, put it in a Ziploc bag, and I just label it. This happens to be a turkey neck with some boneless pork. I do that. That way I know exactly how many bags I have left, is how many days I have left. So right now I got about 55 bags in here. I've got 55 days of food. That's not including the 4 whole chickens I have. Now, people ask about how you thaw it. You can take it out overnight and then leave it on the counter, but because I constantly have a habit of forgetting to check on it, what I do is I take just one of them out, and I'll grab my little container here to catch any blood that happens to fall out. Throw it in there, walk over to my bar fridge, because my larger fridge is a little full, and I plop it in here. As you can see, I have the eggs here I use, and then I have some pre-thawing, which is for tomorrow's night dinner, which happens to be chicken and beef, and you can see how it captures all the blood in there. And that's how you safely thaw it out. I just rinse the containers out with soap when I'm done and put it in. I always thaw 2 days in advance so it has time to completely thaw out. And that's how I pre-package my raw meals for my dogs. Alright, now I'm going to show you how I prepare my dog's meal for tonight. It's 6:30. It's a little late. I usually feed him between 5 and 6, but I forgot, I admit. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to pull the thawed one I have out. I'm going to make sure this is the right one. As you can see, a very anticipated dog right here. And I'm going to bring it over to where I'm going to work. Now, normally I do this in the laundry room, but because I have my washer going, it's a little loud. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out the food and just dump it into his bowl. I'm going to leave that there. Any supplements you give, you add it. I'm giving him apple cider vinegar right now because he's got a little bit of a cold. and it acts as a natural antibiotic. I'm going to just sprinkle that right on his food, about a teaspoon. Again, very anticipated dog. I'm going to just kind of mix that around. Now, just to prove what my dog will choose first, vegetables, fruits, or raw food. Come, Link. Come. No, come here. Get in your kennel for a minute. Kennel. I'm going to put his raw food down. It's already prepared. I'm going to put it right here. I have over here an oatmeal and rice mixture, a tomato from my garden, a cucumber. I'm going to put that right here as well, right beside his food. I've got a nice zucchini and a husk of corn, and I peeled the husk down a bit just to expose the corn. And I'm going to put that here. And then I'm going to let him out, and I'm going to let you see what he goes for first. As you can see, he went for his raw first, and he's going to eat that. He'll sniff everything else, but he won't touch it.